Sorry about that, folks. Little technical difficulty, it's all good. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, come on into Blackboard, give me those green check marks. Let me know that you are ready to go for class this morning. Perfect, I see the green check marks coming in. It's chilly outside today, you guys. I'm cold, so I've got my nice warm tea. So awesome. Angelina, if you're there. I see Jess is away. Josh, Caitlin, give me those green check marks, you guys. Okay, Sean, if you're there. Perfect. Just want to make sure that I don't get leave anyone too far behind here for instructions. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's going to look a little bit different, and I'm just going to pre-warn you. We have a live squid dissection going on in the room next door beside the green screen room this morning with the younger kids. So might get a little loud this morning, not gonna lie, right? How many of you guys, did you guys do this, any of you guys do the squid dissection last year? Did you guys come in and do it? Yeah, it's pretty cool. So anyways, we've had squid in our sink all night. And that's always fun. Smells up our building. It sure does. And actually, Caitlin, I was expecting it to like just overtake me as I walked into the building this morning, but it actually didn't. So I was pleasantly surprised. All right. So with that said as well, you guys, so like I said, it's going to look a little bit differently today. I've got a quick little lesson for you guys. All right. And then what we're going to do is hop off the live classroom, and I'm going to spend a lot of time with each of you individually today for the rest of class, because I want to go over your essays and your Weeblies. Okay. So I'm going to give you a real chance to delve in and revise, because I went through yesterday and completed all the rough drafts. And so even if you've handed in your good copy, that's okay, because you can always resubmit it, right? And I haven't even marked the good copies yet, you guys, but I want to really meet with you guys and make sure that you understand my feedback that I've given you, all right, on those essays. And then I also want to talk about your Weeblies as well, because I've been taking a look at your Weeblies after I went in and marked your job interview types for ADC. And I want to go over that with you guys as well on an individual basis. So we're going to hop off the live, and then I'm going to meet with you guys on an individual basis, just private messaging about essays and Weeblies. Okay, so that's what today kind of looks like overall. All right. So give me 2 seconds here. I just want to make sure that my attendance is totally up to date as I see people coming in. And what we're going to do, you guys, is this morning, I have a bit of a leaky eye, sorry you guys, this morning. What we're going to do this morning is we are starting our new unit. Yay! Around lit circles. But before we do that, I want to make sure, and I've just got to tilt my screen so I can actually see it, you guys. I just want to make sure that we are on the same page for this week around any announcements that we have with around field trips and stuff like that. Okay, I know, Emily, so am I. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm not, this is a big risk, you guys. I've never done lit circles online, so it's gonna be very different. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, looks like you guys have pottery making, and I'm assuming that this is in the afternoon. Yeah, from 1 to 2:45. So if any of you guys are going, that is happening this afternoon at the Rotary Center for the Arts, right? Looks like you guys have art lessons on Wednesday from 1:30 to 3 down at the Kelowna Art Gallery. Perfect. Emily, are you going down to the art gallery for your birthday? Are you going to partake in some art while you were there? Perfect. All right. And then I'm just going to head into December too, you guys, to find out. Now, remember, and I think Miss Mack mentioned this, you guys, around the archery lessons, right? So let's see if Mr. Fender actually put this in here. Yeah. Okay. So there's going to be 2 groups, right, around archery. Now, how many of you guys plan on coming down for archery? I know this is one of the most popular ones, popular field trips that Mr. Fender puts together. So even just give me a quick little green check mark if you plan on signing up. Yeah, yeah. I know, it's super cool, Caitlin. I love going and watching this one too. I wish I could partake in this one, but Mr. Fender won't let the teachers partake. All right, so those of you that are signing up, right? Yes, it is. It fills up fast, Emily. So it looks like actually that Emily, is both groups filled up then? Oh, just the first one. Okay, so I'm assuming that would be group A. So if you still want to do archery, you don't have a choice. It looks like group B is gonna be your choice, right? Oh, and it is coming on December 8th. There you go. Okay, so December 1st is for group A, right? You guys from 10:45 to 12, and then group B is going to be on December 8th from 10:45 to 12. So there's going to be some rotation just so that we can filter through more students for you guys to experience archery. Okay. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know that. And then, so December 1st and December 8th are different groups. And then on the 15th, both groups are going to go, but at different times. Okay, so just be aware of that as the weeks come up with that. Looks like RoboCup is happening on the 6th. And I don't think any of my grade 10s are doing robotics this year. So doesn't really pertain to you guys, so that's fine. And the food bank volunteering, you guys, that was a very popular one, right? We loved that one. I loved that one, right? My Meet a Wee group, as I throw my pencil, right? That's really important. Yes, absolutely. So that's from 1 to 2:30, you guys, okay? Down at the Kelowna Food Bank again. So if you guys are interested in that, very, very good. It's a great way too, you guys, for planning, right? To get some volunteer hours, that sort of thing. Jocelyn, this was for, let's go back so I can see what actually date that was. December 5th, okay? Oh, right, you know, because you'll be in Mexico. Is that why, Jocelyn? Food bank or laying on the beach? I don't know. So excellent. That is what our next couple of weeks look like, you guys, for field trips. All right. So I'm just going to head back into my PowerPoint, you guys, and get this up and going so that we can get started around lit circles. Oh, and there was one more thing I wanted to show you guys before I even went into that. I wanted to go in here. So in Moodle, you guys, what I've done is you'll notice that the course now looks a little bit different, okay? I've started doing, bringing the unit that we are currently working on to the top of the page so that we don't have to scroll all the time, right? So you'll notice now that lit circles is the very, very top unit, and that's where we're going. And I just wanted to review our I can statements for this unit, okay? Because I think this is super, super important for you guys to keep in the back of your mind and to always be reviewing, even after every lesson, to go back and be like, oh, did we work on that I can statement today? How did we do that? Did we reach our goals, right? So the overarching theme or big idea of this whole unit, you guys, is that people understand text differently depending on their worldview and their perspectives. So depending on your background, right, how you were raised. And I love that this ties into, because that's part of our identity, and that ties into what we've been talking about in the past 2 units, right, with Novel in a Day. It's that identity. Where do we fit into our world around us, right? So now we're expanding that into how does that affect how we understand text, all right? So these are our I can statements that'll help support that. I can use reading strategies to build my understanding and extend my thinking. So this is going to be really big. I'm going to teach you guys a lot of reading strategies over the next couple of weeks, and you're going to then apply these reading strategies to the novels that you are reading within your lit circles. Number 2, I can read for enjoyment and to achieve personal goals, okay? So at the beginning of the unit, not today, but maybe next day, what I'm going to ask you guys to do is I've got 6 books within our Lit Circles. You might want to set a goal for yourself, right? You might want to set a goal around, you want to plow through all 6 novels. If you are a high-end reader, maybe that's going to be your goal. Maybe your goal is to get through 1 novel, okay? So, and it doesn't matter. The way that I've set up these Lit Circles, or the way that I have it in my mind anyways, is that it's very, very fluid. Doesn't matter which novel you're reading, right? Or anything like that. You can read as many as you want, or you can read 1. It's totally up to you guys, okay? And then the last one is that I can recognize different types of structures in First People's text and the influence that stories have on their culture, okay? Because this is the big thing that you're going to find. One of the themes within our Lit Circles is all of the novels are written by First Nations authors, okay? So that is how we are going to, and I'm hoping, depending on our timing, this may lead into social studies. It might not, because I have no idea how long the Lit Circles will take you guys. I honestly have no idea at all. So it might take us the rest of the time for English. It might not. Maybe we'll get it done in like a month. I have no idea. Okay. Jocelyn, no, that is not on my list. Is that one of the novels have you read this novel? I've never even heard of it. Oh, The Yellow Line. Send me a message. Who is it by? Tell me a little bit about it. Send a message to me in Moodle. Perfect. All right. So I just wanted to mention those, you guys, because keep in the back of your mind, those are the goals that I personally want you guys to learn about, okay, around the text that we're going to be working with. So whenever we start a Lit Circle unit, I have to introduce you guys to all the books, right? And you guys have to choose your first novel. So really, that's what we're going to do this morning, okay? Now, for those of you that are not actually physically here in Kelowna, this might be a little bit difficult, right? You're gonna have to find a copy. You may have to order it from Amazon. Whatever you can do, if there's a library, fantastic. Most libraries will have these novels, okay? We will work out something, all right, to make sure that you've got the novel that you want, all right? And maybe I'll talk with those of you that are out of town when I do my individual stuff with later on in class time, okay? Okay, so here we go. So I want to introduce stories though around First Nations stories and introduce you to some of these like structures that are actually part of First Nations culture and their oral history traditions, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to research some of the novels, okay? I'm going to introduce them to you, and then you're going to make an informed decision about which one you want to start with, all right? Remember, there's limited copies. I have 5 copies of each novel. So your first choice you might not get. And it honestly depends on how fast you can get down to McWilliams to pick the novel you want, okay? So that's what it's going to come down to. And then we'll do a bit of a reflection at the end. So when we're reading First Nation stories, okay, any type of First Nation stories, this is what we need to remember. Okay, and there's a long history that comes from First Nations culture around this, okay? So that is that stories can vary from the sacred to the historical, okay? There's different contexts that they can be told in. Some focus on social, political, and cultural ways, okay? Some are entertaining, even humorous, and you will notice that in some of the novels that I've chosen, okay? Some tell of personal, family, community, or an entire nation's experience, okay? And I think that is huge in all of my novels that I've chosen, okay? I've read all of these, you guys, and almost all of them will have some sort of personal family. That's one of the biggest themes around First Nations culture, right? It revolves around community and family, okay? Some are owned by certain clans or families and can only be told by that member of that group, okay? That has a lot to do with their family traditions, right? Their family story, that's huge. Others can be told by anyone who knows them and cares for them, okay? And then lastly, stories reflect the perceptions, relationships, beliefs, and attitudes of a particular people. So this is tying into that big theme, right? People's perceptions of a piece of text depends on their worldview and their perspective, right? So I'm trying to expand your guys' knowledge around the First Nations perspective. All right, so if you head into the assignment, you guys, so if I go back into English 10, you'll see right here, choices, choices, choices. Okay, if you guys open this up, you will see that there is the YouTube video right here, okay? So I don't believe it's long. Yeah, just under 4 minutes, just under 4 minutes. So I will put 4 minutes on the timer. Actually, let's do 5 minutes, because then that gives you enough time to actually watch the video, right? And then gives you enough time to reflect on the following question. What did you learn from watching or hearing this story about Aboriginal stories? Okay, and just type it into the room chat. Yes, Caitlin, it is in choices, choices, choices. All right, so take 5 minutes, you guys, watch that video, and then come back to the room chat and answer this question. All right, go ahead and get started. Awesome. Caitlin. So did you learn anything though? That's what I want to know. What did you learn? So it sounds like you guys will all have some prior knowledge, right? Around First Nations stories and storytelling, okay? Because you did. You probably learned about, you know, Haida Gwaii or whatever it was, right? Throughout social studies, throughout your education, right? Absolutely. So you'll learn too that stories were, yeah, absolutely. The raven plays a huge part within First Nations storytelling, right? Yeah, and they have a very strong belief, absolutely. So why a raven is because First Nations culture is very, very tied to nature, right, you guys? To the land and to nature. And you'll see that a lot of that within the text that you're going to read as well. Okay, that's where their history comes from, is the past, and they're tied to the land that they lived in. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So animals, you see a lot of animals, maybe not so much in the novels that we have now, but in traditional stories, right? Which we might read as the unit goes on to practice our reading strategies. We might read a couple, maybe some traditional short stories or some poems or something like that, right? That'll highlight that. But actually, there are some animal in one of the novels, I would say. There might be some reference to it. Good, you guys. Caitlin's sneaking ahead already, you guys. All right. So, well, let's get into it. I'm pretty sure that's the next part. Okay, so this is what I want to do though, because, oh, and actually let me get your whiteboard privilege. I forgot about that. Oh, perfect. Awesome, Belle. So this is what you need to think about. Not so much just about First Nations authors right now, not so much about stories, okay? I want you, for those of you that read, I'm assuming all of you read, right? You may not be avid readers, but for the books that you do read, or think about if you read magazines or newspapers, whatever you read, nonfiction, what makes it appealing to you? What was the first book you totally remember loving, right? What is that first book? Okay, I'll tell you right now, you guys, mine was grade 6, and it was Stephen King, It. I read it in grade 6. All 1,500 pages. So I remember doing the traditional silent reading at the beginning in the morning, right? And then after lunch, right? Oh, just in love. And it actually fostered my love for Stephen King, right? So I have read almost every single novel of Stephen King's in my lifetime. I've kind of veered away from him now. As a mom, I get too scared. But I did love Stephen King. Okay, oh, A Wrinkle in Time, that's a good one. Yeah, perfect, you guys. Okay, so now think about those books, okay? I know, Belle, it just fascinated me. Stephen King it's not a hard read though, remember that, right? Now, think about those books, you guys, that you just really connected with. What was it that was so appealing to you? Okay, what was it? What was so appealing to you? And what I want you to do is just write down everything on the whiteboard, okay? So I think I've got everybody's whiteboard privilege on now, right? So if I bring up whiteboard here, you guys, okay? Remember when you put in a piece of text, you guys, make it big enough that we can see it, okay? So really the questions that you're asking yourself are, what makes books appealing to you personally? What makes you want to read that novel? Yeah, absolutely, Caitlin, absolutely. The cover, that attracts a lot of people, right? So, okay, perfect. So I'm sure, Caitlin, someone can type that out for you. So Caitlin, if you just want to put it into the chat because you can't get on Blackboard this morning, totally fine. Just put it into the chat, and then I'm sure somebody will pick it up, and because I'm sure you're not the only one that cover attracts people. So let's take 5 minutes, you guys, and I actually want you to start creating a list on the whiteboard. Please remember to make your text big enough that we can actually read it from the live screen, okay? So make sure that you highlight it and make the text size bigger, please. All right, and then make sure you move your text box around so we're not typing on top of each other. All right, so let's take 5 minutes, you guys, and go ahead and jot down some ideas. Ooh, I'm light. I was like transparent. Awesome. Okay, good job, you guys. Finish up what you're just typing there, you guys. Awesome. Thanks, Belle. Perfect. And you know, Jocelyn, I was just thinking the same thing. What I totally made a connection with what you were saying with books just dragging on and on and on. And I think I've told you guys this story before, right? You know, how many of you guys love like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, right? Like the J.R. Tolkien. Yeah. I can't do it, you guys. I can't do it. I love the movies. Love, love, love. I can't do it. I do not need to read about a blade of grass for 6 pages. I can't. The description that Tolkien uses, just, it's too detailed for me. And I'm like, let's move it along, people, move it along. So that's something, but I know some people just connect with Tolkien's writing and they love it, right? So, but I personally, I can't. So you guys can see how our perspectives are very, very different and how we engage in different text, right? I just want to go over some of this. Yeah, and a lot of you guys wrote like overlapping ideas, right? Characters, the type of genre is gonna connect with you guys, right? Whether it's mystery, whether it's horror, whatever it is, right? That you guys are into, romance, whatever it is, okay? Sounds like the author was like a really good one. The cover, oh, I like this one. Finding a page and reading to see if it interests you. That's huge, okay? And that's what I've actually done with these novels as well, you guys. I've included the first page for you guys to go through and see if you actually like enjoy it, right? Because I know not everyone's at the same level, you guys. I absolutely understand that, right? Some of you may like a hard read, right? Some of you may just want to be like, I just want something easy and then let's get through this, right? That sort of thing. And that's totally fine with where you're at, right? So the cover, the description, oh, reviews, reading reviews of the novel, that can really get you guys interested. Good. So a plot event that like captures you, so some sort of hook, right? And hopefully it's happening right at the beginning to get you into it, right? I think I've mentioned this to you too, right, you guys, is that when I read a book, no matter how bad it is, I have to finish it. It's just part of my brain just keeps saying, it's gonna get better. It's gotta get better. It's gotta get better at some point. And then at the end of the novel, I'm like, it didn't get better. That was a bad novel. So my last experience was that, no, and you know what, Caitlin? That is the only novel I actually put down and never finished was The Hobbit. I never, ever finished The Hobbit, you guys. Ooh, maybe I should go back and try again now that I'm older. Yeah. So no, I finished The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. And the first 2 novels within that series are fantastic. Like I loved it. And then the 3rd book, so I was like, yeah, I'll finish the trilogy. It'll be awesome. And the 3rd book was absolutely horrible. I didn't like it at all. So, oh, good to hear, Caitlin. I'll talk more about you with that later. That's awesome. All right. So you guys have come up with some great criteria around that, right? Fantastic. Around what appeals to you guys. So take these ideas now, because as we head back into my PowerPoint, right? What I want to do is now we're going to take a look, right? And what I've done is I want to do a little bit of a, not really a guessing game, but give you some clues, some hints as to what the novel might be about, right? So here, you guys, I've got a picture of a family tree, super diverse family tree. Up in the top left corner, you can see, you know, some paper dolls being cut in half, right? What do you guys think that might represent? Yeah, so maybe some divorce, some family getting split up, broken family, absolutely, right? Okay, some oral history. Okay, so the oral story of the tradition of First Nations doing that oral history, right? The elders hold all the knowledge, right, within a family, and they pass that down through generation to generation. Then I've got a picture of a camera. Okay, so what do you guys think that is? Maybe something around photography? Maybe memories? Oh, that's a good guess, Jess. I would have never thought of that. All right, perfect. So you're starting, what I'm trying to do is just to get you enticed about what this novel could be about. So this is actually the Medicine River, okay? So, by Thomas King. So this one, you guys, and again, I want to just reiterate this to you guys. I'm just going to escape out of here and go to here. So if you scroll down, you guys, within the assignment, I've given you a list of titles with the author's name. And then if you click on the cover title of each of these, it will download a Word document, and it will give you the excerpt from the back of the novel, okay? And then it will also give you the first page. Okay, so I've screen captured a lot of the first pages of the novel, and you'll see, right? Because I know a lot of you, when you read and you flip through and you're like, oh, that looks like a lot of words. I don't want to read that novel, right? That sort of thing. So I would say, you guys, so feel free, if that kind of enticed you, so Medicine River, take a look at the read the back, okay, and then read the first page. So why don't I do this just to entice you guys, okay? So Medicine River is by Thomas King, and I've actually got 2 of his novels on this list because he's one of the most famous Canadian First Nations authors, okay? So this one is the following, okay? When Will returns to Medicine River, he thinks he's simply attending his mother's funeral. He doesn't count on Harlan Big Bear and his unique brand of community planning. Harlan tries to sell Will on the idea of returning to Medicine River to open shop as the town's only native photographer. Somehow, that's exactly what happens. Through Will's gentle and humorous narrative, we come to know Medicine River and its colorful cast of characters. At the center of it all is Harlan, advising and pestering, annoying and entertaining, gossiping and benevolently interfering in the lives of his friends and neighbors. Brilliantly comic and perspective, Medicine River is a remarkable novel of universal truths. Okay, so if you were to sound this one, or if you guys decided to choose this one, I would say this is one of the higher level reading ones. All right, so just be aware of that. Okay, it is longer, it does have more words, okay, and the concepts that are talked about in here, it is a higher level reading. So I just want to make that aware for you guys. All right, so fantastic novel. I loved it though, you guys. It's really good. It is really funny. All right, there's comedic elements is what I should say. All right, so here's the next one. What about this one? What do you guys think? Okay, definitely, but take a look at that family, Alexis. Yeah, right? There's definitely some sort of race, interracial thing going on there, diversity. Okay, what else? What about the other images? I know exactly which one this is, so I'm gonna grab the book. Why would I put something about gambling? Good. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And why do you think a picture of snow? Of a man shoveling? Yeah, absolutely. So the setting of the novel has a lot to do with this novel. Okay, you guys? Yes. All right, good. So this is Someday by Drew Hayden Taylor. All right, you guys. What's different about this is it's not your typical novel. This is actually a play. So if you're interested in reading a play, okay, it's a super easy read, super easy. It's not hard. So you'll see when you flip through it, right, you guys? Like when you rip, you'll see the characters' names, and then it's just dialogue, right? That's all it is. So I found when I read this, and literally I read this in like one day, you guys, because it's a play, you just play it in your head, right? Yes, Caitlin, I love that you said that because I think you're totally right. And I don't have the other, I just ordered some new copies of this. And there's a new cover out, and it doesn't have Drew Hayden Taylor's picture on it, right? So you can see, right, you guys? Like it's super easy, right? It's just dialogue, okay? This, I have to say, when I read this, I was laughing out loud, okay? It is very, very funny. I loved it, okay? So I'm just going to read the back to you guys, just like I did for Medicine River, all right? So, no, Jocelyn, you can have your dad come down and grab books or whatever. Yeah, absolutely, okay? So this is what Someday. Someday is a powerful new play by award-winning playwright Drew Hayden Taylor. The story in Someday, though told through fictional characters and full of Taylor's distinctive wit and humor, is based on the real-life tragedy suffered by many Native Canadian families. Anne Wabung's daughter was taken away by children's aid workers when the girl was only a toddler. It is Christmas time 35 years later, and Anne's yearning to see her now grown daughter is stronger than ever. When the family is finally reunited, however, the dreams of neither woman are fulfilled. The setting for the play is a fictional Ojibwe community, but could be any reserve in Canada, where thousands of Native children were removed from their families in what is known among Native people as the scoop up of the 1950s and 1960s. Someday is an entertaining, humorous, and spirited play that packs an intense emotional wallop. All right? So if that interests you, right, go read the first page, okay? Come on down. I highly recommend if you guys want to come on down to McWilliams and like just feel the books, get them in your hands, right? It's very, very different than, you know, reading it online, right? That sort of thing. So that's Someday, you guys. All right. Yes, Paige, that's right. Like, smell it. Absolutely, Emily. Yeah. Now, some of you guys may have seen this image before, right? This is actually quite, this is quite a famous photo. But what do you think, if it's in relation to a novel, what do you think it could be about? And I'm trying to think which one it is. I think it's this one, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, Caitlin, absolutely, that's a good point. If you guys wanna return your Boy in the Striped Pajamas books, absolutely, that would be fantastic. Yes, Christiana, good guess, right? And then what do you think happens? Like if he's taken away, good, Bryn. I'm thinking you're on the right track there. All right. So this is Sugar Falls. Okay. I know some of you might want to read this. Again, this is going to take you maybe less than a day. It might take you a couple hours to read this one. Okay. Why I included this one though is number one, it has to do with residential schools. That's exactly what it's about. Okay, Bryn? And it's a great little story, and I did like it because it really did relate it to, like, to youth, to you guys today, right? So I loved it. The other thing that's fantastic about it is it's a graphic novel. Woohoo, right? It's like a comic book. So it's super, super easy, you guys. It's short, but it is very, very impactful. Okay? Yeah, Emily, it does not take long to read this. Okay? And Caitlin, I am with you. I am not a huge fan of graphic novels. I don't follow the storyline well, but this was so easy that it was good. But I wanted to include something like this because I know my daughter, she loves graphic novels. She will sit down and read Archie comic books and Dork Diaries and whatever else, Geronimo Stilton, right? All of those, the graphic novels, Garfield. Yes, she loves Garfield. The graphic novel is really becoming a big thing nowadays. Graphic novels, like comic books existed when I was in high school, right? Diary of a Wimpy Kid, that's right, those sort of things. But now they're really big, you guys. Graphic novels are huge. So I know some students will really relate with this. So I know that this is a super easy read, but the content of this book is very, very deep and dark. Okay? It does deal with residential schools. So I want you to be aware of that. It's an easy read, but it's a hard read in relation to the content. Okay, so I want you to be aware of that, right? So, okay, I'm going to leave Emily's question up there, and maybe somebody else could answer that really quickly. Interesting. Okay, so I suggest that even Emily, Caitlin, that you guys pick this one up too, right? It'll give you some really good insight as to what was a residential school. And residential schools is not just in this book, okay? There are mentionings of it in other novels as well. So just be aware of it. This one is really based on a residential school, okay? Good, thanks you guys. I'm glad some of your prior knowledge is coming in. Yes. Awesome. Thanks for fixing that, Dean. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So if this, here we go. So this is, I'll read back to you guys on Sugar Falls, okay? So a school assignment to interview a residential school survivor leads Daniel to Betsy, his friend's grandmother, who tells him her story. Abandoned as a young child, Betsy was soon adopted into a loving family. A few short years later, at the age of 8, everything changed. Betsy was taken away to a residential school. There, she was forced to endure abuse and indignity, but Betsy recalled the words her father spoke to her at Sugar Falls, words that gave her the resilience, strength, and determination to survive. Okay? So if that interests you, that is here. All right. Good. Justin, you are very clear on which one you want to read. All right. What about this one? Okay. What do you guys think after looking at these photos? Looking at these photos, what do you think? So something to do with maybe an illness, right? Maybe a character could be an artist. There could be some sort of betrayal going on. Definitely maybe some racism tones within the novel. Absolutely. Good. You guys are getting it. Okay. This one is actually my favorite out of all 6 novels, you guys. I love this book. Okay. And I don't know if anyone's heard of it. Okay. But it's The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. This is, it's amazing, you guys. If you ever get a chance to read any other Sherman Alexie, it's fantastic, okay? This is a great book. This is, it's funny. Oh my gosh, my eye, you guys. It's super funny. It's very, very relatable. Okay. Yes. Yes. So it's very, very, has a little bit of unpolitically correctness in it. Okay. So exactly. Like they don't say part-time First Nations, right? They say Indian. All right. So it gets down to a lot of different issues in First Nations culture. But again, you guys, it's from the perspective of a young boy, and it is funny. It's super funny. It's really good. So let me read, and again, it's not a hard read, you guys. It's not a hard read. Okay, it's easy. A lot of there's even some pictures, right? And it's because he's a cartoonist. One of the characters is a budding cartoonist. Okay, so there's some pictures in here. It's a super easy read, but it's awesome. So I'm just going to read the back to you guys. Okay, Junior is a budding cartoonist growing up on the Spokane Indian Reservation. Born with a variety of medical problems, he's picked on by everyone but his best friend. Determined to receive a good education, Junior leaves the res to attend an all-white school in the neighboring farm town, where the only other Indian is the school mascot. Despite being condemned as a traitor to his people and enduring great tragedies, Junior attacks life with wit and humor and discovers a strength inside of himself that he never knew existed. Inspired by his own experiences growing up, award-winning author Sherman Alexie chronicles the contemporary adolescence of one unlucky boy trying to rise above the life everyone expects him to live. Okay? Again, you guys, and like I said, I only have 5 copies of each novel. So you need to get down here and if you really want this one, get down here and pick it up. All right. Next one. All right. What about this one, you guys? Good, Emily. Oh, no, Caitlin, this is like first come, first serve. Good, definitely good. Yeah. So this one, you guys, is for those of you that like, you know, if you liked, what is it? The vampire. Twilight? Is that what it's called? Yeah. If you like Twilight, you will like this novel. Okay. Even if you didn't like Twilight, I think it actually goes deeper than Twilight, okay? So the writing actually is deeper than Twilight. There isn't as much romance as you actually think there is, okay? But there is a little bit in here, right? So this is Night Wanderer, and you'll notice that it's also by Drew Hayden Taylor, okay? By the same guy who wrote the play Someday. So this is like a gothic novel. Right? It's got vampires, right? That sort of thing. Yeah, it's super interesting. And when I first got it, I was like looking at the cover and I'm like, what the heck is this? But as I got into it, you'll understand why. And it's actually not a bad novel, you guys. I actually enjoyed it. I think I might have enjoyed it more than Twilight because it does touch on a lot of different issues besides relationships, okay? It does delve deeper into family issues, right, between the daughter and the father, and that sort of thing, and that part of the plot. It is a good. I like all the novels, you guys. I'm not gonna lie, I like them all. Okay, so this one definitely. So if you're into more of a gothic, into more of a dark read, this one would be for you. Okay, so I'll read the back to you guys. Native legends tell of demons and unspeakable evil in the woods around Otter Lake. Tiffany Hunter, who lived there all of her 16 years, has yet to encounter anything sinister. But what's with the mysterious lodger her father has taken in? He's a little creepy, sleeping in the day and prowling at night. For the present, Tiffany's too preoccupied trying to figure out what's going on with her white boyfriend and handling the relentless battles with her father. Then, in the midnight woods, a chilling encounter with the strange lodger changes everything for them both. Acclaimed Ojibwe writer Drew Hayden Taylor has created a mesmerizing blend of coming-of-age novel and pulse-pounding thriller. All right? So if you're interested in that sort of thing, this novel's for you. All right? Oh, so Caitlin, good question, right? So maybe a little bit of interracial, right, stuff in here. Okay, so that's one of the big themes that run through that is the interracial relationship between Tiffany and her boyfriend. Okay, all right. So if you're interested in that, come get that one. All right. What about this one? Yeah. Yeah. Has a lot to do with, Lindsay, nailed it. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. So a lot to do with family, with friendship, with the rodeo. Okay. Awesome, you guys. Good. So here we go. This is The Truth in Brightwater by Thomas King. Okay. So you'll notice there's two covers. Okay. For this one. Again, Thomas King, okay? So he was the one that did Medicine River. This Thomas King is, again, just like Medicine River, you guys, this is more of a high-end novel, a high-end read, okay? It is a little bit longer, right? You know, a lot of words on the page, that sort of thing. The concepts are a little bit deeper, right? Okay? But again, it's funny, it's heartwarming. I really, really liked the characters in this novel, the two boys in this novel. I really enjoyed the characterization in this novel. So if you like to really delve into characters, then this is the book for you, okay? So, Truth in Brightwater, I'll read you guys the little sleeve here. Upon its publication 15 years ago, Thomas King's acclaimed Truth in Brightwater confirmed him as one of the most wittiest and wisest writers. The novel tells the story of two young cousins and one long summer. I am not even going to pronounce their names because I have them in my head, but they're not how you say them out loud. Tecumseh and Lum live in Truth, a small American town, and Brightwater, the reserve across the border and over the river. Family's the only reason most of the people stay in the town, and yet old secrets and new mysteries keep pulling the more nomadic residents back into the fold. Monroe Swimmer, famous Indian artist, returns to live in the old church with the hope of painting it into the prairie landscape and reestablishing the buffalo population. Tecumseh's Aunt Cassie has come back too, already arguing with his mother. When the Indian Days festival arrives, the mysteries of the summer collide in love, betrayal, and reconciliation. Equally plain-spoken and poetic, comic and poignant, Truth in Brightwater is a crackling good story that resonates with universal truths. All right? So that's Truth in Brightwater, okay? Now, there are quite a lot of questions, I feel like, from you guys. Now, around Lit Circles, there's no time limit, okay, around, so if you finish a book, bring it on back down to McWilliams and pick up another one, okay? There's going to be no specific time limit for each novel. You get to read at your own pace. So I'm probably, what we're going to do in the next couple of weeks is when we meet for English, you can read all of them if you want, Emily, absolutely. Yeah, I'm encouraging you guys to do so, all right? So, yeah, absolutely, Belle. So some of you might only get through one novel. Some of you might get all 5. Okay, it's totally up to you guys. This is a very fluid unit. I don't want you to be stuck on one novel the whole time. I want to encourage your reading, right? I want you to engage in it. So you might come pick up a novel and maybe you guys aren't like me and you don't have to finish a novel. Maybe you're reading it and you're like, this sucks. Come back, hand it back in, get another one, okay? No, so Jess, that's what's different about how I'm gonna run my Lit Circles, okay? You are reading for enjoyment and really focusing on the theme, right, of the novels. I really want you guys to delve into the theme. What is the big message that the author is trying to get across? That sort of thing. And we're going to be practicing reading strategies, okay? So when we practice these reading strategies, these are universal strategies. Doesn't matter what you're reading, right? It doesn't matter. You're just going to practice these reading strategies on the novel that you're going to read. We will do a culminating activity at the end. Okay, I haven't decided what that's going to be yet. I think it might be, I'll give you guys some voice and choice. Okay, but at the end, then what you could do is you could choose the novel that you like the best. And that's the one that you could focus on to do your culminating activity on, right? Okay, so that's really what I'm focusing on. When we do a lit circle, the other aspect of that is that you guys will have to come and meet with me, okay, as a group. So whoever is reading, for example, Truth in Brightwater, at that point in time, I want you guys, we're going to actually meet, whether it's going to be either in person, whether we're going to meet in Blackboard, whatever that is, and I'm going to pull you guys aside and we're going to have a conversation around the novel, and we're going to delve deeper into it, right? So I'm going to set up specific dates for the next couple of weeks, and you guys will just sign up for whichever novel so I'll have 5 different dates for each novel, and whatever novel you're reading at that time, that's the group that you're going to be in. Okay, and that's the novel that we're going to discuss that day, and we'll almost just have like a coffee talk, right? It's not going to be me drilling you and asking you, you know, like, why did this character do that? And it's just a conversation, okay? No, and Jess, and that's totally fine. That's why I said, well, maybe we'll do it over Blackboard, right? To include everybody, right? And so we'll be able to type. And it will be more of, say, maybe I don't want to say maybe a Socratic circle, but we'll see if we actually structure those discussions, all right? But it's hard to structure a discussion when there will be only 6 of us potentially, right? Like that's really hard. Yeah, Belle, that's an option. I'm not even going to lie. That would be super fun. So depending on who's in the group, we could, and even, you know what, even if they're not, we could just I could bring my laptop, right? And we could go meet at Starbucks, and we could just Blackboard in whoever is out of town. And we could just sit around and have coffee, drink our lattes, and talk about a book. Okay? Okay. All right, that's what we'll plan to do then. Would you guys all enjoy that? All I'm hearing from is the boys, or from the girls. Boys, would that be okay if we met at a coffee shop? I'm just hearing from all the girls. Okay. Awesome. Okay, we will do that, you guys. Josh. But remember, Josh, you don't have to. We can Blackboard you in, right? Those of you that actually don't want to meet in person. That's totally fine. Good. I'm glad, Josh. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's right, Caitlin. You guys could just go to a coffee shop and we'll Blackboard each other. So, this is what you need to do now. As I'm getting off the live feed with you guys and heading back to my office to just go back and chat on Blackboard, you will notice that in the assignment, you will have a Word document. Choices, choices, choices. Okay? You need to write down your novel number 1, novel number 2, novel number 3, and give me reasons why. Okay, and then what I would like you to do is have this in the back of your mind when you come down to McWilliams, or if you need to order your books or whatever, right? Make sure that you have a choice 1, 2, and 3, because if 1 is already gone, you got to move to choice 2. But remember, once somebody returns novel 1, you can come back and get it, right? So don't really think that this is so fluid, you guys. Like I said, as soon as a novel's returned, you guys can pick it up, right? No, so you do not need to hand this sheet in, Alexis. This is just something for you to visually think about, okay? Yes, Caitlin, Caitlin T, if you decide to order the books, if you were like, I want to read this novel and I do not want to wait, I am going to order it myself. Then yes, you can order whichever book you want, right? So if we've got a 6th member of that Lit Circle group, that's totally fine. Okay? So now, Jocelyn, you actually don't have to submit. This is solely for you. Okay? I honestly, I don't care which books you guys read. This is all about you. Okay? So this is for you to organize your thoughts. Which ones do you want to read first? And like Emily, I know she wants to read all of them. So it's not going to matter which one Emily chooses, right? That sort of thing. But if there's one that you really want, you got to get down here, okay? So that is all I have for you guys right now, all right? So I am going to log off the live classroom. I'm going to head back to my office. Give me 10 minutes, okay, to get there. And then I'm going to come back onto Blackboard and we're going to reconvene and I'll start private messaging you guys. I want to do a little bit of one-on-one work with some of you today. All right. So go ahead, get started on your choices, and I will see you guys in about 10 minutes. All right. Thanks, guys.